You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the February 17th meeting for the Michigan City Common Council. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good evening and welcome to the Michigan City Common Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. We will start off with call to order by Council President, and if you would all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and prayer. Also, if you would please silence all of your electronic devices. And while you're in your moment of prayer, I ask for those to please send out a special prayer for the covering of the family of the late Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, on roll call, please.
Mr. Petrie,
Present.
Mr. Coulter,
Present.
Mr. Dabney, Dr. Cora,
Present.
Ms. Lee, present, Ms. Moldenhauer,
Present.
Mr. Nelson,
Present.
Mr. Prespolinski,
Present.
Ms. Tillman.
Present, and Councilman Dabney absent has been approved. Next, we have approval of minutes. Our regular council hybrid and Zoom for February 3rd, 2026. Are there any corrections within those minutes or any changes that needs to be done?
Motion to approve. I second.
We have a motion by Councilman Prespolinski and a second by Councilwoman Moldenhauer. Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Dr. Cora.
Aye.
Ms. Lee. Aye. Ms. Moldenhauer.
Aye.
Mr. Nelson.
Aye.
Mr. Prespolinski.
Aye.
Ms. Tillman.
Aye.
Mr. Petrie.
Aye.
Mr. Coulter.
Aye.
8 in favor, 0 opposed.
And those minutes for the regular council hybrid Zoom for February 3rd, 2026 has been approved. Next, we have reports of standing committees. Reports of standing committees.
Madam
Reports.
President, the Finance Committee did not meet today because we didn't have anything to approve, but I'll be happy to read the balances of the riverboat funds if you would like.
Yes, please. Thank you, Dr. Cora.
Thank you very much. So in Fund 2235, the riverboat fund, the balance is $3,970,099.90. And Fund 2236 Rainy Day Fund, $1,321,810.42 for a grand total of $5,291,910.32.
Thank you, Dr. Cora.
Thank you.
That concludes our Finance Committee meeting minutes. Reports from boards and commissions. We have Mr. Ron Miller with Community Enrichment Corporation presenting his 2026 annual report presentation.
Good evening, President Tillman, members of the City Council. I'm Ron Miller. My day job is at WEFM Radio, and I was thinking as I was sitting here, I think the first time I sat in that second seat over there was sometime in 1985. So I was very young, but that's 40 years. That's a long time. And I'm board president of the Michigan City Community Enrichment Corporation, 1903 Springland Avenue, Michigan City. As all of you, I think, are aware, I give you kind of the same spiel every year. The Richmond Corporation was created as part of the original operating agreement between the city and Blue Chip Casino. And as part of that, Blue Chip pays $750,000 each year to the Enrichment Corporation, or donates to the Enrichment Corporation $750,000. The first $100,000 as part of the agreement goes to the Washington Park Zoo, and the other $650,000 we distribute every year to not-for-profit organizations, which are within the boundaries of Michigan City area schools. They have to be 501c3 organizations, and they submit applications every year. We are governed by a group of board of directors. There are 9 members. They are all volunteers. I'm going to quickly read them. Brett Cox is our vice president. He is also vice president at Blue Chip and is a very integral part of our board. I've said this to you many times before. I was talking to Clarence Holt this morning. Clarence and I went to Indianapolis a number of years ago to appear before the Indiana Gaming Commission on behalf of the city. And I told them there were some people from Blue Chip there. There are a lot of gaming organizations in this country, but not all of them are, and some very good ones, but they're not all dedicated to the communities where they serve the way that Boyd Gaming is. We are extremely fortunate to have an organization like Boyd Gaming that supports this community. And of course, they weren't the original licensee, so they weren't involved in creating this, but they have supported it. And Brett, he is vice president also at Blue Chip, and he has awesome responsibilities, including they just remodeled their signature restaurant, William B. Steakhouse, and Brett was charged with the difficult task of going over the new menu items and sampling them to decide which ones they would put on the new menu. So I thought he might be here tonight, but he does an outstanding job. We're very happy and pleased that he's with us. Our treasurer is Dan Granquist. Our board members are Candace Adams, Stacy Benning, Denise Conlon, Ken Fly, Craig Hinchman, and Jason Kirby. I see later on in your agenda that Jason is on your agenda. Jason is sitting right over here. He is finishing his first 3-year term. We all serve 3-year terms on the Richmond Corporation. I think he'll tell you that he didn't know a lot about the Richmond Corporation when he started, but he has pitched in, he's learned, he has contributed, and I would very strongly recommend that the council reappoint him. I'm also going to make the same recommendation to Mayor Angie about the other 2 board members that are up, because again, 3-year terms, so there are 3 board members that are up every year, and all of them are contributing. I will tell you that as I look down the list, we have a few people, Brett being one of them, have been with us for a while. We have others like Jason who have been with us a relatively short period of time. I am always appreciative of the fact that people step forward and want to serve on boards and commissions. And certainly we get new perspectives when people do that. But we have a very strong working board of directors right now. They all contribute, they all participate, and I'm going to go over that in just a moment. But we value them, and we value the time that they donate to us on a year-round basis. This year, we had a total of 68 applications. You may remember that we don't fund organizations, we actually fund projects. And so organizations are asked to submit projects. And this year, we put some restrictions. The maximum is $30,000, and we would not accept more than 2 applications per organization. We also asked them when they submitted those applications to rank them for us, 1, 2. The reason for that is if we were looking at funding 2 organizations, or an organization, both of their projects, we wanted to know which one they valued the most in terms of needing the funding. And that was helpful for us as part of our deliberations. 68 applications were received. The total was $1,259,500, just a little over $1.25 million, and we had $650,000 to distribute. The way that the process works is that right after Labor Day, all of the board members, all 9 board members individually review every one of these 68 applications, and they rank them on a basis of 1 to 4, 1 being the highest, 4 being the lowest. Their individual feelings about each one of these projects, 1 through 68, those are then compiled and averaged, and we are giving a list like this, and it tells us what they asked for last year, if they had applied in the past, and what we gave them. So that gives us a guide, and we start at the top and work our way down. We get to a certain point. One of the reasons we put the restriction, the $30,000 restrictions, are the $650,000 seems like a lot of money until you fund 11 of them, and now you funded $650,000. So we decided we needed to put some limits. Not that these organizations couldn't use and deserve $50,000, but we felt like we need to spread the money around a little bit more. And as I'll get to that in just a minute, I think we've done a pretty good job of that. We met at Blue Chip after we prioritize these, and we get this list. We meet in January. Blue Chip provides us with a meeting room, and the 9 of us go through each application. We review it. We review what they're asking for, and we make the awards. I think we have all of these votes here. We had 8 of the 9 members that were participating. I think the closest score was there's one that was 5-3. Most of them were 8-0. There were a couple that's 7-0 and 1 extension. I think there were 2 of them that were 5-3. But we pretty much agreed on the funding. When we get about 2/3 of the way, because we keep track of where we are, what we funded so far, and where the 650 level is, then we go ahead and we look at the rest of the list, so we make sure we don't miss anyone. Of the 68 that we had submitted to us this year, we funded 48. And of those 48, 8 of them were getting money for the first time. Anytime an organization applies for us for the first time, we limit them to $3,000. And the reason we do that is because this gives us an opportunity to learn more about them and them more about us. We make sure that they use the money for the purpose that they said they were going to use it for, and we develop that rapport. We had several organizations, I didn't count them, but several organizations that we gave $3,000 to last year. I see one right here, Dunebrook. They received $3,000. Obviously, Dunebrook's been around for a long time. This is the first time they applied to us, but we awarded $30,000 to them this year. So, is that correct? No, they asked for $30,000 this year. Okay, anyway, we had 8 of those 48 were first-time awards. There were 20 of the applications we did not fund this year. But we have a good working relationship. I think the total amount that we awarded this year was $620,500. We have to keep a little bit of a cushion there because there are certain fees. We do have some taxes we have to pay. It's minimal. We do have accounting fees. We do have an attorney that has to advise us because we have to deal with the Gaming Commission as well as these individual organizations. And we require each of these organizations to twice a year report to us how they've used the money to make sure that they use the money the way that they told us they were going to. So we have to keep track of those. But of $650,000, we set aside about $30,000 for expenses, and we actually only used about half of that. So we're pretty frugal about that. The final thing that I'll tell you is on March the 18th, which is a Wednesday, we will meet at Blue Chip for our annual banquet. I know some of you, I know that Councilman Przybylski has been there on several occasions. Mayor Angie has been there. I don't know, have you been? Yeah, I thought Councilperson Moldenauer has been there as well. We're at Blue Chip on Wednesday, March the 18th. You all will be getting invitations as well as the mayor. Excuse me. I will tell you that we only invite the individual council members. We invite 2 people from each of the organizations that are receiving grants. And as they receive the check, they tell us a little bit about the program. But we only invite the council members themselves. You can bring a guest if you like, but there is a charge for that. The reason is if we give you a second dinner at $40, that's $40 we couldn't award to an organization. And we're trying to keep the money going to the organizations every dime that we can. So with that, I'll conclude my report. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to do my best to answer them for you.
Do the council have any comments or questions?
I just want to thank you and the rest of the team on the board for the wonderful work you do, because many, many organizations benefit from it. So thank you very much, Rob.
Well, we know that, money is difficult for not-for-profits now. It's probably as hard as it's ever been. And $650,000 sounds like a lot of money until you start handing it out at $30 a crack. So we feel good the fact that we funded 48 of the 68 we were given this year. There's 20 organizations that are disappointed, but we'll go back and do it again. During the off months, starting now, after our banquet, we'll revise the situation further. We'll take a look at the process. We do have 2 of our 9 members represent small organizations that do receive funding from the Enrichment Corporation. We are very careful about that because we know that that they can't be involved in the process of awarding money to their organization. But they also give us feedback on how our applications affect the individual organizations, and that's very beneficial for us. I didn't mention our administrator, Pat Harris, who is absolutely essential to our operation. Some of you know Pat. I think she's board president of the Tourism Bureau. She's served on other boards and commission. And Doug Beege is our board attorney. But anyway, so we will evaluate those. We've had people tell us that our grant application is one of the easiest that they have to deal with. We want to make it as easy as possible for the organizations, but we also make sure that they abide by the rules in the organization, so we treat everybody the same.
I do have a question for you, Mr. Miller.
Yes.
So you mentioned that there are applications that are not approved. Is it due to that it didn't meet all the specs or qualifications that warrants them to be eligible for the grant? Or is it due to, for those that did not make it, wasn't approved, are they put on a list for the next year and to see if they reapply, and then how does that work?
Well, that's a good question. No, the 20 that we did not fund are because we ran out of money. We can only afford, we can only award money that we have. We encourage those organizations to apply again. Many of them do. And we also hold workshops. Pat Harris and I and some of the other board members hold 2 workshops right after the grant applications are announced. We hold them here at City Hall in the room across the hall here, and we do one in during the daytime and one in the evening, so that organizations that are applying for the first time or organizations want to make sure that they're meeting all the requirements, we can answer their questions and assist them. But the only reason why those are not funded is because we don't have the money for it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Councilman Nelson?
Yes, sir.
You said ran out of money for the last 20, correct?
Mhm.
How do you prioritize where to start at?
Well, again, that's what we do. Each of the 9 board members look at all 68 applications from beginning to end, every single one submitted. And individually, each of us rank those between 1 and 4. Then all of those are compiled, and so it gives us a list. If all of us voted top, number 1, for an organization, it's going to be close to the top, but high of the list. What generally speaking is, I may feel differently about some organizations than others. You may feel differently. So this gives us a good sampling, but it's just a guide, and it tells us here. Then we get this, and it tells us the ones that, based on our individual review, rank the highest. We start there, we start working our way down. When we get to around $500,000, then we start looking ahead, and we go through the rest of the applications we've not considered yet during our deliberations and make sure we haven't missed something. So that's how they're an organization let's see, the closest one that we funded was number 58 out of 68. And let me see, I think we fit in the 50s, we funded a couple of them as well. So, for example, there are organizations that will ask for more money than we can give them. There were some of them that we just felt like these are programs that might have been duplicated somewhere else, or that we would rather fund they gave us 2 of them. We felt that the other one that they gave us was more beneficial, so we funded that one. So it's a kind of a subjective process, but it seems to work well so that we can evaluate all 68 of the programs.
With it being subjective, far as rotating the eyes that's on these projects, have you guys thought about that? I know you mentioned these 2 2 non-for-profits that you have on the board.
Mhm.
Have y'all thought about rotating those,
Well, I mean, that's
or just rotating the members? Period.
that is what the city council and the mayor does. You appoint the members of this board.
Mhm.
If you decide that when a board member's 3-year term is up, that you want to, if someone else applies and you want to appoint them, that is your prerogative. As I said, I am strongly recommending that Mr. Kirby be reappointed to a second 3-year term because he's done a good job. But if the council or the mayor at any point says, rather than reappoint somebody who's on the board, we need to look at somebody else, that's your prerogative because you appoint the board members, you and the mayor.
Okay. How often do y'all meet throughout the year?
We meet monthly. We have, as long as I think this is my 11th or 12th year. There was a gap in between of about 3 years when I was off the board. Then I came back. But we meet monthly. We meet upstairs the first Wednesday. Our meetings are not open to the public because we're talking about not-for-profits and we're talking about funding. So our meetings are not open to the public, nor are they recorded. But we meet upstairs. Now, this year we've decided in May and in July, because of the summer months and because we're coming right out of the grant cycle, we're going to meet in April, we're going to meet in June, we're going to meet in August and September, but we're going to take a couple of months off. But generally speaking, we meet upstairs the first Monday of every month for about an hour and take care of whatever business we have.
And who's the longest tenured member on here?
I believe I am. As I said, I served for, I think it was I think I served part of 1 term and 2 full terms. So I served 6 or 7 years. I came off the board for about 3 years, and I was asked to come back and serve on the board again. And I have a year to go in my current 3-year term. So mine will be up at 2027, and I believe I'm a mayoral appointment. I have to look. But again, every 3, you will have an appointment, at least one appointment, the council will, every 3 years. And if you decide that rather than one of the board members who's on the board, that you want to name somebody new, you certainly have that prerogative.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilman Beatry?
Can't say enough good things about Community Enrichment Corps. We're fortunate as a community to have them around, thanks to Blue Chip. But there are so many agencies in Michigan City that are trying to do their best to make their people's lives better and more amenable. And you provide the funds to help those agencies. So kudos to you and your group, but kudos to you personally, Ron Miller, because I know this is not the only agency that you ever worked for or board you've ever been on. And when I was president of the Chamber of Commerce, you were on our board of directors and were super important, not just from the input you have about giving agencies, but you're probably the best informed person in Michigan City. If we ever want to know what was going on in Michigan City or in the county or in Indianapolis, we talk to you. So thank you for your selfless dedication to Michigan City and all the things you've done for us. Keep up the good work, Ron.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And you're right. We have so many great organizations. And one of the things, and I say it every year, we will have each of the 50 or 48 organizations. There won't be 48 organizations because there's 48 projects. So there'll probably be about 30 to 35 organizations will be at the banquet on March the 18th. I learned something more about those not-for-profits every year because they come up and spend about 2 or 3 minutes talking about their organization, talking about the program, why it's important to them. And I learned more about those not-for-profits. We have so many outstanding not-for-profits in this area. You're right. It's difficult to get funding right now. And so we are fortunate to have this tool that we can spread this money around and keep these not-for-profits operating.
I don't see any other lights. I believe that's all the comments and questions that the council have for you. And thank you again, Mr. Miller.
Thank
for
you,
your
President Tillman.
Are there any other reports from boards and commissions? Any other reports, Councilwoman Moldenauer?
Yes, I have a brief announcement. This is for the upcoming Northwest Indiana Green Drinks. It's happening the first Thursday of March, and I didn't write down the date on that. I'm sorry. The topic is biodiversity pollinator gardens. We're getting very excited because spring looks like it's around the corner. So we're going to be talking about native plants and garden designs. Our presenters are going to be Leslie Chad, who's of Green Eco Evansville. She has a residence now in Michigan City. And Kathy Sipple, who is the creator of Northwest Indiana Region Resilience. Leslie, in addition to knowing a lot about plants, she also is the coordinator for National Wildlife Federation certification process. And Evanston actually is certified as a city. In Michigan City, this is a goal of ours. We hope to be the first city certified in Indiana for our pollinator gardens. You can join us via Save the Dunes Facebook Live or the Zoom link from that's short for Emily, at savedunes.org. Again, that's the first Thursday of the month at 6:30 p.m. Hope to see you there. Bye.
This will be the last call for boards and commissions. Next, we are going down to our reports of special or select committees. Do we have any reports for special or select committees? Reports of special or select committees. There are none. Reports from the mayor or other city officers and departments. Do we have any reports from mayor or other city officers and departments? Reports from mayor or other city officers and department. Madam Clerk, do we have any petitions for this evening?
There's no petitions.
Madam Clerk, on communications, please.
A notice of public hearing was received in the clerk's office on February 3rd, 2026 regarding the proposed drive-through coffee shop located at 117 Willard Ave. A notice of public hearing was received in the clerk's office on February 2nd regarding the proposed crew car wash located at 4353 Franklin Street.
Madam Clerk, our first resolution by title only, please.
A resolution by title only. A resolution to authorize the disposition of sale dated outstanding warrants or checks issued by the City of Michigan City, Indiana. And this is introduced by Ms. Tillman.
Thank you. Just to give a little clarity as to in regards to what stale dated checks or outstanding warrants or checks issued by the City of Michigan City. So the council members, we've all had a list that comprised what the stale dated checks were for and the fund names that they were tied to. So unfortunately, these were checks that was actually made. However, they were not cash. So these funds will convert back into that department's account. And if I can elaborate anything further on that, Madam Controller.
Marilyn Wall, City Controller. Yes, you're right. There is actually an IC code that allows us to look at all the checks that we have written, and we can go ahead and stale date them and return the funds and return the monies to the fund that issued the check. And it's all written in the IC code. So we're following IC codes to do this.
Thank you. And so I'll open this up for public comments. Are there any public comments on this resolution? Are there any public comments on this resolution? Any public comments on this resolution? There are none. Public comments are now closed. Any comments from the council? Councilman Beatrice?
This is good news, actually. This allows us to take monies that we sent checks out to people for that never cashed them, to return those monies back to those people who sent the check in the first place. So this is a way for us to gain back monies that were never sent to the bank. So this is a good thing. I'm in favor, and if no one else has anything to add, I'd like to recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Beatrice and a second by Dr. Cora. I would like to open this up if there are any debates on this resolution. If there are no debates, Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Ms. Lee? Aye. Ms. Moldenhauer?
Aye.
Mr. Nelson?
Aye.
Mr. Prespolinski?
Aye.
Ms. Tillman?
Aye.
Mr. Beatrice?
Aye.
Mr. Poulter?
Aye.
Dr. Cora?
Aye.
8 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you. This resolution has passed. Madam Clerk, on our next resolution, please.
A resolution by title only, determining that funding for certain outstanding 2025 purchase orders should be encumbered and authorizing the city controller to encumber such funds. And this is introduced by Ms. Tillman.
Thank you. And for this resolution, these are encumbrance of funds that have already been approved in the budget. And in regards to, as you all had the opportunity to see from the attachment, the encumbered funds for the fiscal year of 2025 of their soft close, the total encumbered funds requested for approval was for $4,899,878. And all council members, you have that attached in with Exhibit A and B. I'll open this resolution up for public comment at this time. Are there any public comments on this resolution? Are there any public comments on this resolution? Are there any public comments on this resolution? If there are none, public comments are now closed. Comments from the council? Councilman Beatrice? I'm sorry, Councilman Prespolinski?
No.
There's no comments from the council? Councilman Beatrice?
Recommend approval.
We have a motion by Councilman Beatrice and a second by Dr. Cora. Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Ms. Moldenhauer?
Aye.
Mr. Nelson?
Aye.
Mr. Prespolinski?
Aye.
Ms. Tillman?
Aye.
Mr. Beatrice?
Aye.
Mr. Poulter?
Aye.
Dr. Cora?
Aye.
Ms. Lee? Aye. 8 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you. This resolution has passed. Madam Clerk, on our third resolution by title only for this evening.
A resolution by title only. A resolution strongly opposing recent utility rate increases and calling on Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission to reverse its approval of the same. This is introduced by Dr. Cora and Mr. Prespolinski.
And does either of the sponsor like to make any comments?
Madam President, I'm going to read this verbatim because I think it's that important, not only to the council, but to every resident that's here, every resident that's watching. This deals with our NIPSCO rates, and that affects everyone. And so I did call our state senator, Rodney Pohl, and asked him, what is the best thing that the city could do? And he said that the best thing we could do is to stand behind our residents and our constituents and send a resolution down to Indianapolis letting the state Senate know how Michigan City feels about the unjust rate increases. So I will begin. Whereas on June 26, 2025, the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission approved a stipulation and settlement agreement in its cause number 46120, whereby the Northern Indiana Public Service Company was authorized to generally increase its electric rates, which will result in an estimated increase of 16.75% to the average residential customer's monthly electric service bill. And whereas pursuant to the aforementioned stipulation and settlement agreement, the rate increase is expected to be implemented in 2 phases, with the second phase expected to be implemented this coming March 2026. And whereas within the past 2 years, the IURC has also approved a stipulation and settlement agreement in its case number 45967, through which NIPSCO was authorized to generally increase its natural gas rates, again in 2 phases, which has resulted in significant increases to the average residential customer's monthly natural gas service bill. And whereas recent media reports and actions of local government entities have placed a heightened scrutiny on NIPSCO's routine practice of presenting residents with an aggregated delivery charge associated with the provisions of electrical and natural gas service, which often constitutes a significant portion of a resident's monthly utility bill, but by its nature presents challenges to residents with respect to their ability to identify and or challenge the manner in which the delivery charge is calculated and the components of which it is comprised. Whereas the electric rates of NIPSCO are among the highest of the utilities mentioned on the website of the IURC, and whereas residents of Michigan City are struggling to pay heightened utility bills, along with other basic and necessary expenses which continue to increase, and at a minimum, should not be burdened with an additional rate increase at this time. Whereas the recent and drastic increase in monthly utility bills assessed to Michigan City residents creates a destabilizing impact on the local economy by reducing the amount of disposable income available for support of and investment in local businesses, establishments, and services. And whereas the recent and drastic increase in the monthly utility bills assessed to Michigan City residents further creates a destabilizing impact on the local housing supply by forcing residents out of their current residences over affordability concern and an inability to remain compliant with lease or mortgage agreements. And whereas the recent and drastic increase in monthly utility bills assessed to Michigan City residents has further resulted in numerous residents being forced to drastically reduce their utility consumption, which creates general health, welfare, and safety concerns by limiting the ability some residents have to heat their residences or to find alternative, more dangerous ways of heating their residence during a winter which has already brought above average snowfall, below average temperatures, and wind chills to the Michigan City area. And whereas over 60% of the Michigan City population live below the poverty level, and whereas the city's annual utility bill will increase by $160,000 in 2026 due to this increase. And whereas the City Council wishes to create a public record with respect to its sentiments opposing the recent aforementioned rate increases and calling on the IURC to reverse its approval of the same and engage in heightened scrutiny with respect to the ambiguous, vague, and unsupported delivery charges routinely imposed by NIPSCO. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Common Council of Michigan City that the City of Michigan City, Indiana, strongly opposes the currently effective and ongoing increases to NIPSCO gas and electric rates due to the aforementioned adverse impacts that said rate increases are having and will continue to have on families struggling to pay existing utility bills in the absence of the intervention by the IURC or the state administration. And that the City of Michigan City, Indiana, further joins with several of its neighboring communities in calling for the IURC to initiate an investigation which would ultimately require itemization and substantiation of the monthly delivery charges imposed by NIPSCO, and further demands that NIPSCO cease its practice of assessing said delivery charges until such time it can provide the requested itemization and substantiation of the validity of the same. And the resolution shall be in full force and effect after passage by the Michigan City Common Council. And just one more thing I'd like to add to my comment is that according to our state senator, Rodney Pohl, and also reading it in the paper, that any amendment that was pursued by the Democratic minority in the state Senate was dealing with the NIPSCO rate increases, and these charges were voted down by the majority Republican state senators in our state Senate. So I don't believe in its pudding, proof is in the pudding, that I don't think the Republican state Senate really cares on what people have to deal with. And it's kind of, to me, just taking the attitude right out of the White House and bringing it right down to the state level. Thank you.
Dr. Cora?
Yeah, Madam President, thank you. Thank you, Councilman Przybylski, for reading it into the record. And also I want to thank Councilman Molinar for going down to the State House and advocating on behalf of the ratepayers here in Michigan City and across Indiana. In addition to what has already been said, one other thing I wanted to mention was there are 4 providers in the state of Indiana, and NIPSCO saw the highest increase of 26.7%, followed by CenterPoint, which is 24.9%, Duke Energy, 19.8%, and AES Indiana, 12%. In 2025, the increase in the residential bills was over 26%. And again, there will be an increase in 26. So I think this is huge. This is really affecting everyone. And everybody's feeling the pinch of it. So I think it's important that we convey our displeasure to our state officials and ask them to reverse these increases. Thank you very much, Madam President.
Thank you, Dr. Cora. I will now open this up for public comment. Are there any public comments on this resolution? Are there any public comments on this resolution? Any public comments on this resolution? If there are no further comments from the public comments are now closed. Comments from the council. Councilwoman Moldenauer.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to be added as a sponsor on this resolution. I heard from a third person personally that their utility bill was over $1,000 this past month. And these are not people with large homes. They're modest sized homes in Michigan City, in modest neighborhoods. And these people were shocked. So this increase is unconscionable. And in many ways, I feel criminal, actually. So I'm very happy to sponsor this. And I just wanted to mention a typo. The dollar sign is missing before the $160,000. So if we can get that inserted, that would be great. My heart goes out to everybody that's dealing with this, that's having to make their choices between paying their rent, making their mortgage payment, putting food on the table for themselves and their families, and possibly deciding I can't afford my medication this month. And people should never be put in that position. So thank you, Dr. Cora and Councilman Prisbalinski, for pulling this together. Greatly appreciated.
Before we go any further, I would just like to ask all council members, are there anyone else that would like to be added to this resolution? Councilman Beardry,
I'd like to be added to.
Councilman Coulter, Councilwoman Lee,
I'd like to be added.
Councilman Nelson, Councilman Tillman, Councilwoman Tillman. Are there any other comments at this?
Yeah.
Councilman Prisbalinski?
Yeah, one thing, and I mentioned it at the last council meeting, that, you know, the horse is already out of the barn with this issue, I believe. But where the public and where the city council and the city administration needs to get involved when it comes to these rate increases that come along every 2 or 3 years is when they have the public hearings wherever they're at, whether they're in, the last one was at Valparaiso at Ivy Tech, which I attended. I think I was the only, I know I was the only council member there, and I believe possibly the only resident from Michigan City. But that's where the IURC comes to these areas to listen to what the people have to say. Now you can sit there and maybe understand that, well, they're not going to listen to us anyway. They're going to do what they want to do. And they might have that attitude. But then again, if 50 or 60 people in the city council and the city administration shows up to these meetings and tells them exactly how they feel, maybe NIPSCO won't get a 16% increase. Maybe they'll just get a 10% increase. So every little bit helps. But I'm just going to suggest next time this comes around that everybody, not everybody, but, you know, whoever can make it, you have to make it. And especially council members need to be there, and the city mayor needs to be there also. Thank you.
And at this time, may I entertain?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Prisbalinski and second by Dr. Core. Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Mr. Nelson,
I'm sorry. Aye.
Mr. Prespolinski,
Aye.
Ms. Tillman,
Aye.
Mr. Beatry,
Aye.
Mr. Coulter,
Aye.
Dr. Cora,
Aye.
Ms. Lee, aye, Ms. Moldenhauer,
I
8 in favor, 0 opposed.
If I could add, Dr. Cora and Councilman Prisbalinski, would you like for this also to be mailed to the state, to the senators and our representatives as well?
Yes, Madam President, we should mail it to our state representatives, state senators, the Speaker of the House, and the Senate President, as well as the Governor's office.
Madam Clerk, would you be able to see to that, please? Thank you. And Madam Clerk, our first ordinance for this evening on first reading by title only.
An ordinance on first reading by title only, an ordinance authorizing the city of Michigan City, Indiana to fund its taxable economic development revenue, note series 2026, and approving and authorizing other actions in respect thereto. And this is introduced by Ms. Tillman.
And we do have Skylar York and the developers here for Tailwinds that will introduce this to the council and to the public.
Turn into very good here. Okay. Good afternoon. I'll let everyone get a copy. Or start. Hi, I'm Tyler York. I'm the Director of Redevelopment for the city. What I'm handing out is what will be talked about tonight, plus it's just some additional information. Everyone got it?
No, we do.
Cool. Let me start off by it's a pleasure to be here tonight and introduce this project. It's a new project that we're working on. I would also like to say that we are using, the reason we're here tonight is that we're using a different section of our enabling legislation, the IC code. We're using our Economic Development Commission code. So when you saw on the agenda TIF EDC, it wasn't the Economic Development Corporation, it's actually the Economic Development Commission, to just clarify. And tonight before you, what is being requested is a forgivable loan that the Redevelopment Commission will be providing. Will not be an obligation to the city. It will be an obligation from the Redevelopment Commission. And the way that works is that the Redevelopment Commission pledges the money. They make sure the money's there. We pledge the money, and then it goes to the Economic Development Commission to review and agree, similar to a bond that would be cast, making sure that there's enough money to pay, and that it produces enough to make sure that we're not, giving out something we don't have. And then when they pass their resolution, then it comes to you, and basically what's being asked of you in this ordinance is a loan agreement to provide the loan to the developer. So it's a 3-part process with this one. It's a little bit different, but instead of being before you tonight for a bond, we're before you tonight for a loan to the developer. It is a public-private partnership with the developers. And tonight, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Matt Rossman, who's the principal developer on this project, and Mr. David Duran, who is a consultant to the developer. And then online, we have Miss Heather James, attorney Heather James, with Ice Miller, who is a attorney to the developer. And then our counsel, attorney Tremel Rags, is on as well. Tremel Rags is our new Redevelopment Commission counsel. So he's there as well to answer any questions that I cannot answer. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Mr. David Duran to give you a small presentation about the project, and then I will jump back in and answer any questions regarding pledging of money, things of that nature. Does that sound okay, Mr. President? Madam President?
That sounds great. And just for some clarity for the council. So tonight is just the introduction in regards to this new project that will be which will be forthcoming again to the council. And due to that, this is on first reading, then we will have a full presentation from Tailwinds on second reading at our next council meeting.
Yeah, and the way that I'm so sorry, Madam President, I did not mean to interrupt you. The way that it works too, it doesn't require a resolution. It actually requires an ordinance to do the loan. So that's why we have to come and do this in the form of an ordinance. So with that, I'm gonna hand it off to Mr. David Duran.
Madam President, can I make one comment? Mr. York?
Absolutely.
Before you introduce the developers, can you identify what is this money for?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Because that's important. And then you introduce the developers.
Well, I didn't want to steal the thunder because he's going to get to it, but let me tell you what it's for. What's being asked of us is typically, this is a little bit different. Most time we get asked to provide money or financing and bonding for vertical construction, similar to the tower downtown that you're seeing, or sometimes infrastructure. This is actually an infrastructure project, and it will become public infrastructure once it's completed. It'll be in the form of a road. What's being asked for us is to participate in the construction of a road. This road would go between Cleveland and 421. It would connect through there and would also connect you may recall if you ever go watch a movie, I know that's not really in right now, you can watch it at home. But if you go to the movie theaters, you'll see the dead end road that is behind there, Myers Drive and Tim right there. We will be connecting all that up and actually connecting to back to Cleveland. This has been in the plans for many years. We did a 421 corridor plan, and this is basically implementing that plan. And we honestly have been working on trying to get roads down there for a very long time. The opportunity here is that by partnering with a developer, we, instead of buying right of way from them or building the road ourselves through a bond, we're able to work with the developer to do two things: get the right of way and build the road without using a bond, a 20-year bond to do so. But by partnering with them, it helps us achieve the same outcome, and it just gives us a little bit more economic of scale.
The road will be owned by the city.
That is correct. It will be dedicated. It will be inspected. So they still have to go through the subdivision process, entitlement process. Through that process, they will work with our city engineer. The city engineer will lay out what his expectations of the road to meet our standards are. It will be worked into their subdivision through a subdivision agreement. He will then inspect the road 3 times, and at the final 3rd time, it will be a recommendation to the Board of Works to take that as a dedication of right of way, and then that will put it officially into our roadway inventory. Yes, and it will be built to spec. Curb, gutter, all the things that go in the road. It's not just road; it's also pavement, pipe, curbing, all the etc. things. So, with that, I'm going to hand it off to Mr. David Duran. I hope I didn't steal too much from him.
Good evening, everybody. My name is David Duran. Address for the public records, 218 Sheridan Street in Crown Point, Indiana. I'll let Matt introduce himself.
I have Matt Rossman with ICS 11035 Broadway, Crown Point, Indiana.
And I think Skylar just did a great job explaining the project. Any questions? Just kidding. I'll dive into the details a little more here. He did a great job. We've been working with Skylar for probably a little more than 14, 15 months on this project. So you do have a nice booklet handout there that really dives into the details. And I think what's really key to this whole thing is this is a public-private partnership that benefits the community based on the public infrastructure, the roadway itself. You're getting a roadway, I think, Madam President, you sit on EDC as well, and was part of this, and we met with the Redevelopment Commission. This is a great project where you're going to get a road for about half the price based on the dollars coming in here. The developer, which is Matt here, is on the hook for the other half, but it also sparks the new 11 different types of buildings in that business park that really hits that sweet spot that's really needed based on things brought to our attention for a business park of 10 to 12,000 square foot in nature of each building, which will hit the mom and pop type shops in any region that are looking to either expand or grow in your own backyard here. Some of the things that highlights outside of the things that are important to the council, as you guys represent all your districts and your residents and business owners, there's a lot of buckets you guys fill. We've heard a little bit tonight about some of the non-for-profits. You've heard about the stories about, again, I appreciate the resolution for NIPSCO, and I wish more communities will do that. That's how you're going to get heard. But we're bringing in dollars and cents that fill buckets into other things like your utilities. But the most important thing that we're doing here, the impact starts with a $30 million investment. That's key. It's building sizes, again, to small to mid-sized companies that will locate here in Michigan City. These are high-quality construction standards with attract stable and long-term tenants, flexible space suitable for businesses, distribution, service, and technology users. These are addressing all the documented shortages in modern mid-sized industrial things Michigan City is looking for in today's community impact. This type of product will be currently in limited supply locally, making it very much of a project well positioned for occupancy in your backyard here. One thing I want to preface it here is we look to build not only the road, but the development itself. We are a pro-union background. These are union constructed impact positions. We estimate that construction job by themselves in the region in Northwest Indiana will service about 170 to 200 jobs just in the construction of itself of the roadway and the future of 11 buildings in this corridor. These trades include electricians, plumbers, pipe fitters, laborers, operators, carpenters, ironworkers, all the ones across the board there. Prevailing wage, union labor provides family sustaining wages, benefits, pensions, apprenticeship opportunities. These are your residents. Okay, they're the ones that put back in the economic wheel to spend things and spend in other places in your community. They support your schools, they support your commerce, they support your sports programs, they support just everything across the board that you guys touch. Also, as this thing gets built and permanently moves forward, you're going to look at over 80 to 120 permanent jobs in this location for these 11 buildings. That's an estimate payroll between $4 to $6 million on an annual basis. And again, those job impacts outside of construction, now when you have permanent jobs, they're contributing to the economic wheel of Michigan City as well, all the things we just talked about. Assessed valuation. That's a key. This is the fiduciary of the city right here, right? So a $30 million total build out when it's all said and complete. This is just with the buildings, the roads, the assessment of everything that's generated from this. With your 3% business caps in Indiana, we're looking about just under $1 million in new avenue of taxes coming back. Again, this isn't a TIF. So the TIF benefits from that, but the TIF goes out there and sparks new development, new infrastructure, reinvest in your community. You're seeing that completely down in the downtown corridor, and that's working very, very well. We wouldn't be a big part of that and continue to make sure those buckets are being filled up at a high level. But then the other part that you, as the fiduciary of the city, that has direct impact are the local option income taxes, okay, the LOIT. These are jobs being created, right? So this is additional money that comes into this body when you start to look at the LOIT, and that's another $40,000 to $60,000 on an annual basis just on that alone. Each one of those things add up to prosperity for the community itself. Then we also contribute to utilities in a positive way. We're contributing towards your new water and sanitary sewer connections. We're also partnering with this roadway connection, and we're sizing it, working with the engineer of the city to make sure what infrastructure goes in and underneath that road. We call that the non-sexy stuff, right? Nobody sees it, but when you use it, if the water doesn't come to your home, if you can't flush your toilet, all the things that you need underneath the ground, we're going to be sized appropriately as you continue to build further to the east. As Skylar talked about, this is a long-term capital improvement plan, matches the vision of the community. We're going to be sizing our infrastructure to make sure as connectability and our project is done, we're passing the baton to somebody else who can connect and have infrastructure at the highest and best use of that location as well. So when you start to look at these things from the property taxes, the local option income tax, the utility revenues, once it's fully built out, we're looking at over $1 million to $1.1 million on an annual basis. So it's more than just a business park. It's a contributing to the buckets of economic development for Michigan City. Again, this project delivers union jobs, fills the critical gap of local business market, creates over $30 million of new assessed valuation, generates over $1 million of annual new local revenue for the community, all driven by a private investment without raising taxes on your residents, which is really key. So again, when you start to look at the $4 million of this roadway project, the RDC is in for 2, the developer's in for 2. There are benchmarks in this agreement. Heather James can really dive into the details and dot the I's across the T's if you have questions on the legal side of this. But we have to perform, okay? We have to perform to be able to get the money into the roadway itself. There are benchmarks in a construction sworn, so as each level goes through at certain percentages, that's how we get paid back. And when the road's complete, we're fully funded on the $2 million of a $4 million project. How Matt gets paid back on his $2 other million that he's invested on this is to make sure that we get vertical buildings in the ground and get revenue coming back into that TIF, because then that agreement also allows Matt to collect his $2 million on the other side based on development being out there. Again, no impact to your residential homeowners here. It has to be new development, new AV coming from that business park itself. Then once Matt's company's paid back at the 2, then it becomes fully funded back to the RC going forward for longevity on the project. The booklet itself has a lot of good information in there, but if you have any questions up to this point, I'll take a quick pause here and see if any questions you have, or if Heather's on it, or if Matt wants to contribute to any of this conversation.
Are there any comments at this time from the council? Councilman Beatrice.
I'm excited about this because I represent Fourth Ward, and that's what we're talking about here. And I live on Cleveland Ave, so I'm on that Cleveland Ave extension all the time. And for years, I've been driving that thing thinking, when are we going to get more development on this west side? Because I know that's city. The east side is county. But this is consistent with Marbach, which we put in a few years ago, and they're doing great. I'm excited about the breadth and variety of the businesses that we're talking about that will fit in here. I think we can all be excited about those possibilities. We need that extension put in from Cleveland over to 421, and I just think it's a great thing. And I'd be in favor if I weren't Fourth Ward, but this is a slam dunk for me. I'm glad that you guys came together with this idea. And I really think that once we have this in the ground, it's going to encourage or put more heat on the county to do something with that east side of that extension, because they don't even have sidewalks and street lights there. So I think it's a good thing. I think it's thumbs up.
Councilwoman Moldenauer.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm excited about this also. I often wondered where the road to nowhere was going to go, and it's going to go somewhere. And with this actually bringing in buildings that are going to hold space for businesses, that's wonderful. So I do have one question. Besides you saying that these construction jobs are going to be union ones, what guarantee do we have that those really are going to be union jobs for local workers and you're not going to be bringing in crews from somewhere else, please?
I don't know if there's anything in the agreement that that prohibits us from that, to give you a direct answer, but historically we do predominantly union. I don't know if something of this size would be our preference to a union contractor, would be the most qualified contractor and would make us feel most comfortable. So outside of there being some type of restriction on the roadway, I can say there's a commitment for us that it would be 100% union. On the buildings, I would commit that it'd be predominantly union. We're not signatory with the union, but we, as a general contractor, we hire predominantly in our historically union.
Yeah, I think I answered Matt's question a little bit further. If you look in his brochure here of his past product that he's been involved with, those have been predominantly been union projects, and I can attest to that in Crown Point myself, where I wore my previous hats. They brought in quality with union trades being part of that as well, and the RDC participated in Crown Point on that as well. And union was a preference of our community as well, and they adhere to that as well. So again, I know that we're going to be provided with trades in the area, but also businesses here in Michigan City, and they all have the right to go ahead and participate on the private side there. But when you start to look at quality and the workmanship that we're going to need back to the community for the roadway project itself and the buildings that we're talking about, it's very difficult to find somebody who is not unionized to be able to bring that quality to the project itself.
We're looking at this development as the first of many, hopefully, in Michigan City. So we want to establish the same presence we have in Crown Point, which is, predominantly we're looking for local contractors. So when we send this out to bid, we want to find as many local people that we can.
And you say that a little louder.
We want to look for as many local contractors as we can. And in Crown Point and throughout the state, we do predominantly union, like I said before.
Councilman Przybylski.
Yeah, 2 questions. Number one, is there going to be sidewalks?
I believe so.
Are you gonna have sidewalks?
Yes, any new subdivision development, yeah, you're required to do sidewalks, especially out there in that area. We want to make sure that we've done an injustice kind of down there without putting sidewalks in and being prepared. Now we're trying to retrofit that. I really don't want to be in the business of retrofitting. I'd rather do it now and get it in. You may argue, well, no one's going to walk over there. Someone will walk over there. And I'd also like to see us do carve out at least the area for a bus stop in that area, because we've done that when we took over Town Center Drive as well. The whole goal of this is to create better circulation down there. If you, I went back and actually read when the AMC went in 93, 94. I read through our planning commission agendas and things of that nature in the actual documents. And actually, back then, even then, the goal was to connect roads through there. It was stated in that. So, yes, sidewalks would be required. The city engineer probably will demand them. So,
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, so would I. I mean, that's the way things go nowadays. You got to put sidewalks in for people, even if it's just a minor travel issue. You still got to have sidewalks.
it's extremely hard down there to right now. I mean, you've seen one of the projects we worked on. It's extremely hard to retrofit.
Yeah. And then a second question, and Councilwoman Molenauer brought it up with the union workers. Well, now with the data center, I'm sure taking a lot of union jobs away, if there's going to be enough, of a workforce to come in and do this project, mainly being union workers, not just filling in here or filling in there. But that's what I want to see, is to make sure that we're going to have union workers on this project. And that's something that you're going to have to look into to see what the availability is.
Yeah, that is a concern of ours with different mega projects that are coming into the area, but I don't foresee that being an issue. The trades that we work with, we rely on, and we have a 20-year working relationship with them. So some of the contractors that would do a data center are not the same contractors we'd be working with. They're a little bit smaller, I think, in nature, but still union.
Yeah, I think it's important that anybody who does work on this product will be living here in Northwest Indiana. There won't be any money leaving the state. That's key, because I know that's a big issue when you start to bring outside dollars into this. We are using, with the partnership with the RDC, that is tax dollars coming from businesses, so that is local money coming in here. And when you start to build infrastructure, I don't know anybody really out there that builds roadways that are in the non-union. So you're going to get 100% union on that roadway, that public infrastructure, and it will be the NDOT specs as well.
Dr. Cora?
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. I'm excited about this development, a $30 million development, and bringing jobs, not only construction jobs, that once the project is finished, then people who work there. I think that's wonderful for this community. And I do go to Crown Point. And as a matter of fact, tomorrow I'll be going to Crown Point to the hospital. And I've seen your work in Crown Point, and it speaks for itself. And the fact that you're going to be using union workers from Northwest Indiana, that's a big plus. So I'm excited about it. So please add me as a co-sponsor to this.
Madam Clerk, if you would, please. Are there any other questions or comments from the council? If not, I would like to open.
Madam President.
No. Okay. I would like to open this up for public comments on this ordinance. Public comments on this ordinance. Please keep in mind that public comments are for 3 minutes. And if you will please state your name and your address, please. Thank you.
This is Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street. I certainly want to welcome Mr. Rawson and Mr. Urn, our esteemed investors. I agree with Tim Beetroff. Finally, this little land is all finally going to get developed. I know it all went in probably 30 years ago, back during Mayor Sheila Burleson's administration. She's the president of the Redevelopment Commission now. But I think it's pretty cool. They're going to rename Tailwind Business Park, because I think we all know that's the original site of the Michigan City Municipal Airport. And you can go online, you see these old black and white photos that Bill Swedenborg took of that. I mean, it was just like a grass runway. I'm just really happy to see it's all going. And I guess my one question was, are they going to come back and ask for any tax abatements? I'm sure they are. So just want to keep up the good work and keep looking forward to seeing this progress. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments on this ordinance? Last call for public comments on this ordinance.
No, I'd like to address these gentlemen. As far as you said, infrastructure out there, when you're putting in the sidewalks, is that going to be?
Excuse me, sir. If you could please state your name and address.
My name's Wayne Reitzel, 4210 East Michigan Boulevard, Michigan City.
Okay.
The Hipcrete, are you guys going to use that in the sidewalks so we don't have long-term trouble with cracks and stuff later on? Because I know some of the stuff that's been used before, it just doesn't stand up to the time. As far as the blacktop, we've seen the results of what's been local. And will you be using contractors who use subcontractors who hire in through the little gap that they left that Senator Goody talked about for illegal immigrants to come across the border and work for them as union contractors?
This is comments, not Q&A, sir. So, but your comments is heard by them. So then when we have our second reading of this ordinance on our next council, then they will be able to elaborate on those questions that you're asking.
Yeah, I just wanted to leave that out there since the senator was pushing to close that loophole.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. That was our last public comment on this ordinance. Public comment is now closed. Yes.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to say thank you for letting us speak tonight and hearing us out. Mr. Rossman, I actually met him 4 years ago, and I've been trying to work with him on a project, and then this kind of came and fell in our lap from the redevelopment standpoint. We were already looking at building roads and bonding roads and things like that. So it's just a great opportunity to partner with a really good developer who's proven track record numerous times. And I just think it shows where we're going in Michigan City and where we're at, where we've been, where we're going, and where we're at right now with respect to the quality of development that we're getting in Michigan City. So thank you so much for letting us speak tonight.
Thank you. I will now ask, are there any comments from the council? Councilman Przybylski?
I do have a question. Where is the, I think you're looking for a $2 million loan. Is that correct?
That is correct. It is.
So where's that money coming from?
It will be from the TIF, the South Side TIF is where it will be coming from. Correct.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it is not, I'll be very clear, it is not an obligation of taxpayers or an obligation of the city general fund. This will be coming out of TIF proceeds that are there, they're available. We have pledged them through the Redevelopment Commission. We have secured them through the Economic Development Commission, meaning that they have reviewed our pledge, make sure that it produces enough, that there's enough to cover this. And in all honesty, it's a really good, this is a lot better deal in my opinion than doing a 20-year bond for a road that does have taxpayer backup obligations, even though it doesn't obligate if something was to happen. This is a really good project to partner, and actually, like I said, the economics of scale just make it really affordable, and it's a great way to build infrastructure and get a big bang for the buck, if you will. Does that answer the question? Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Mr. York. If there are no other Councilman Coulter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I'm really excited about this project for a few reasons, but I have a reservation too. So when you look at that side of town, there's really no vacant signs anywhere. Everything seems to be pretty full, so there's demand for this. So that's exciting. And I'm excited that we're making some progress on it too. But one of the things that I was doing when I was doing my homework on this was just talking to some of my friends that are in the leadership positions in the building trades. And they haven't had any communication from either redevelopment or the developer on this. So it's a little troubling that we're saying that it's going to be union jobs. There's no guarantee in this. There's no PLA written in it right now. And then just generally on that topic as well, aside from the idea that we could insert a PLA to ensure that it's going to be union labor, we also really need to get our butts into gear and pass some sort of community workforce ordinance. It's something that I've talked about before and something that I think we'll see coming up pretty soon. Thank you.
Councilman Beatrice,
I'd just like to have my name added as a sponsor to this ordinance.
if you would, Madam Clerk. Thank you. If there are no other comments from the council, this ordinance will be held over for second reading. Madam Clerk, on our next ordinance on second reading by title only.
An ordinance on second reading by title only, creating section 78-7 in the Michigan City Municipal Code to designate all Michigan City government-owned buildings and real property as smoke-free. And this is introduced by Mr. Coulter, Ms. Moldenhauer, Mr. Beatrice, and Ms. Lee.
Do any of the sponsors have any comments?
Yes, Madam President.
Councilman Coulter?
Thank you. So last Wednesday, we were able to have a workshop talking about this ordinance. We've made some significant amendments since then. So as you remember, the ordinance that we were talking about on Thursday applied to all city-owned grounds. That would have been the golf course, the beach, everything. This drastically scales that back. So just kind of starting at the top and kind of hitting some of the highlights of what we have in this ordinance. Attorney Snow, can you help just kind of explain to the council who are following along the definition section where we've got workplace and public place?
Sure. So in the first whereas clause on this, we mentioned that the state of Indiana has enacted smoking bans and regulations under state statute, which cover what the statute terms as public places and places of employment. And so if we skip, so those are things that are already established under Indiana code. And so then if we skip down to the definitions section under the therefore be it ordained, it's section A5 and 6. This ordinance will then define what it means for a workplace or a public place within the city. And so a workplace is defined as an enclosed area of a city-owned structure that's a place of employment, and that's true regardless of whether city employees are present and conducting city business at that time or not. And then public place, although it sounds like it could be anywhere within the city, means an enclosed area of a city-owned structure into which the public is invited or permitted. So this is language that's parroted directly from the state code, and I think that the reason that they did that is because we're trying to cover all areas of a public building and not try to get into technicalities over, well, you can make it non-smoking in areas where employees are actively engaged in performing work, but there are other open public areas of a building like this atrium out here where there's not usually people working, so those are kind of off limits. The public places and the places of employment under state code kind of go hand in hand, and the state has already stated, so to speak, that is off limits in terms of smoking. And so what we've tried to do is mirror that in our ordinance so that it covers workplaces, which again are areas within city buildings where people would generally be working, or public places, which is areas of enclosed buildings where the public's invited or permitted. So public place doesn't include an open space like the beach or the golf course. It's only limited by its definition to an enclosed space in a city-owned structure. Does that cover it?
I think so. So the definitions is the first part of this ordinance. The second part is smoke-free city-owned property. This used to be significantly longer, but taking out the beaches and stuff has shortened down this part of the ordinance. One thing to note is that we still are looking at, I think that's in this section, having smoke-free vehicles. So if you have a vehicle assigned to you by the city, you can't smoke in that. That's part C. There we go. Part D really helps kind of clarify my vision for this. Before we were talking about enforcement and just the difficulties of that. This limits it to a sign on the door saying smoking in permitted areas only, which I think is pretty straightforward. I think that's an instruction that most people understand. One thing that I've been clear about from the start of this is that I don't like this 8-foot, 20-foot deal. It's very arbitrary that those are made up numbers. The 12-foot difference doesn't solve any of the problems that we've started this process with. The sign on the door saying smoking in permitted areas only clarifies that. And then each city workplace is allowed to create a designated smoking area. They can also opt not to. And then this maintains the removal of ashtrays and removes the necessity of having training and guidance for the HR department. Yeah, I'm excited to hear my fellow council members' comments. Thank you.
Does any of the other sponsors? Any of the other sponsors?
I'm not the sponsor.
Councilwoman Moldenauer.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to make it very clear that even though I spoke about my dad a lot, having been a smoker from the age of 11 to 65, 62, my concern about this was the secondhand smoke that other people experience when they are working in city buildings, okay? So I do agree with Councilman Coulter that the 20 feet was just sort of gotten from somewhere and I didn't understand it. So I did do some research and I do want to read that off very quickly. But also we have removed the parks, we've removed the beach, we've removed those outdoor public spaces from this ordinance. So what I heard a lot of at the workshop was those outdoor spaces is what the residents of Michigan City were really concerned about. And those have been removed from this ordinance, so they're no longer a part of that. And I did some research into how far being away from the building is actually effective, and I do want to read that so people understand that this has been researched, there's scientific evidence behind it. To protect health from secondhand smoke, the recommendation minimum distance to smoke away from an office building is 25 feet from entrances, exits, windows, and air intake vents. While many state laws mandate at least 8 to 20 feet, 25 feet is recognized by the CDC and the American Lung Association to prevent smoke from drifting back inside. Chief considerations for safe distancing: optimal distance is 25 feet or more, which ensures that harmful particles do not enter building ventilation systems. Legal minimums in any places such as Indiana, the legal minimum is 8 feet from public entrances. Other regions may require 20. Secondhand smoke travel. Smoke can travel up to 20 feet in open air. Even outdoors, if you can smell smoke, you are likely inhaling harmful toxins. The LEED standards, which is an architectural standard for high-quality buildings, they require a minimum of 25 feet for outdoor smoking to achieve that certification. Wind conditions: in high wind, smoke can travel much further, making 25 a standard safety minimum to account for air circulation. For maximum safety, some, especially the American Lung Association, recommend a 100% smoke-free ground policy. And I just wanted to read that into the record so people understand what recommendations are from the associations that are concerned about secondhand smoke and diseases that are the result of being exposed to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Moldenauer. Councilman Beatrice.
I guess I'm more hardcore I, the amendments that were made, I don't think they go far enough, but I understand the arguments against what we had before. To me, limiting smoking in any way is a good sign and a good start. So I'll support this, even though I think we've taken a lot of the meat out of it.
I will now open this.
I forgot to make a motion for substitution. Can we do that?
You have to put that.
Okay, thank you. Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion for substitution for the, is that all I need to say?
Yeah.
I second.
So, yeah.
We have, there is a motion for substitution by Councilman Coulter and a second by Dr. Kaur. Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Mr. Prespolinski,
Aye.
Ms. Tillman,
Aye.
Mr. Beatrice,
Aye.
Mr. Poulter,
Aye.
Dr. Cora,
Aye.
Ms. Lee, Ms. Moldenhauer,
Aye.
Mr. Nelson.
Aye.
There's 8 in favor and 0 opposed.
So the amendments for substitution has been approved. I will now open this up for public comment.
Yeah, this is Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street. I'm perplexed how this just went from just moving from 8 feet to the door to 20 feet to the door, all the city-owned buildings to all this. I think there's just be a real simple solution. Just Mayor Angie can just dip into her little mayor's ball funds, and she can just contract with Thomas Structures and just put up one of those little smoking sheds out here next to the dumpster right here across from Pine Street, where you put all the recycling. She make an executive order and making that the designated smoking area for City Hall. This all got started because Amber, the attorney, was complaining because the smoke was coming into her office from outside. So I think I just said on that you should just keep everything how it is, and that's how I feel. I think we're just wasting a lot of time and money on this. Thank you.
So Kathy Parker, 331 First Street. I would like to commend you for your pragmatism in adjusting this bill to reflect really what people are saying online about this legislation and about the fact that it's even come to the point where it's become something that the council's spending time on when we have many other things to worry about. So that's number one. Number two, I do have to protest, I guess, Nancy's, the point she was trying to make with how smoke travels. I understand that. And no organization in the world is going to say that smoke and all the components of it, all the carcinogens, are good for you. But here's the fact. There is zero evidence of the danger, no data, no studies on the danger of secondhand smoke in an outdoor area other than in a relatively contained space such as a bar patio or perhaps a hallway that connects buildings. So this was undertaken with really no evidence about the danger of secondhand smoke at all. But I am really happy, and I think the people of Michigan City are going to be very happy about what's transpired tonight.
Thank you.
Stephen Kornacki, 5410. Kind of cool that you guys did listen to the public. I was cool with the first round. Just go. I mean, you guys already said that dogs are on Washington Park, and there's an ordinance against that, so people are going to smoke either way. But it's nice that you guys are listening to the public. Can we please have more ordinance or amendments on the agenda for the rest of the year? It's like somebody said, it's a waste of money, waste of resources to come in here and not really have a hefty list of things that kind of need to get done around the city. So thank you.
Thank you.
I am John Carrington, 140 Esther Street. Sorry, I missed the meetings in January. Good evening. My name is John Carrington. I live at 140 Esther Street. I'm going to read this because I want to make sure I get it in 2 minutes here. I am a non-drinker and an ex-smoker. I listened to Greg's announcement today on Facebook about narrowing the ordinance from a citywide ban. He said this began because, quote, somebody in City Hall just smelled cigarettes all day long, unquote. If that is the basis, this is a workplace management issue, not a public safety crisis, and it should be handled internally, not by ordinance. This brings me to the real question, which is which risks do we restrict and which do we normalize? In 1984, I was hit head-on by a drunk driver going the wrong way on a Texas freeway. I suffered a severe head injury and facial fractures. After that crash, alcohol affected my vision to the point that I saw 20/20 double vision, so I never drank again. I understand firsthand what alcohol impairment does, not just to the person drinking, but to innocent people on the road. So it's hard to hear strong language about smoke exposure while this council advocates for expanded public drinking, like the support we have seen for DORA-style ordinances to expand open alcohol on public streets. We saw a promotion on Facebook by Greg of a, quote, ride, sip, and vote brewery crawl, encouraging people to bike between Burnham Brewing, Zorn, the Ritz Club, and Shoreline Brewery in 2024 while drinking or having alcohol. It's on Facebook from September 20th of 2024, and it's still there as of this evening. In Indiana, bicycles are vehicles under DUI law. Alcohol impairs judgment and reaction time, whether someone's driving a car or riding a bike. That is a real public safety issue. Alcohol is also tied to assault, domestic violence, crime, etc. These are not minor concerns, so I ask, if safety is the guiding principle, why expand public alcohol consumption while just tightening smoking rules? Why promote drinking on public roadways, yet treat cigarettes as the urgent threat? I'm not defending smoking. I quit smoking in 2018. I'm asking for consistent governance. If this is a workplace issue, handle it as a workplace issue. If it's about public safety, apply that standard evenly. I urge the council to withdraw this proposal, review existing policies, and examine alcohol and tobacco together, not in isolation. Ask whether this is about risk or what's easier to regulate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Tom Donegan, 205 East 11th Street. As you heard, myself and a lot of people can't believe you wasted time on smoking outdoors. There's plenty of other things you need to be concerned about. Here's a few. Let's start with this. Raise your hand if you know how many people were shot in Michigan City in 2025. Nobody knows. Good for you. How many of those people were killed in 2025? Raise your hands. Nobody knows. Good for you. Raise your hand if you know how many people have been shot in Michigan City in 2026.
This is in regards to the ordinance.
I'm getting to that. You're interrupting me. Thank you.
Excuse
Raise your hand if you know how many
sir.
people have been shot
I'm not trying
in
to
City in
interrupt you. I
2026.
just want to make sure that we stay of course onto the ordinance that's before us.
I'm reclaiming my time. Thank you.
Denied.
Raise your hand if you know how many people have been shot in Michigan City in 2026. You don't know. Obviously, that should be more important than smoking outdoors. Where's the plan to have a shooting-free beach this year? There's at least one shooting a year there. Surely that's more important than smoking outdoors. On the beach topic, ordinances aren't enforced there as it is. Weed clouds over the sand, dogs allowed like it's welcome, drinking from glass bottles and so on, more important than smoking outdoors. How many of you know the vacancy rate for storefronts along Franklin Street? How about Franklin between Barker Avenue and 11th Street? There's more vacant storefronts than open, so that's over 50%. Downtown and Midtown are the core of Michigan City, and they're rotting away. Shouldn't that be more important to you than smoking outdoors? How many miles of streets lack sidewalks? There's rarely talk about that, but Przybylski brought it up tonight. How is the plan for fixing the homeless, panhandling vagrant problem? You had a workshop a couple months ago, yet there's been no updates at a council meeting. Whatever happened to the loitering ordinance suggested by the Franklin Street business owners? Is that in the trash bin? What was the point in time count for Michigan City this year? How does that compare to the last 5 years? That's not more important than smoking outdoors? What's the average time between a call for a bulk garbage pickup and the time it's actually picked up? How many citations have been written for bulk garbage not called in? Good service is more important than smoking outdoors. What's the track record for the Redevelopment Commission for residential projects announced and actually getting built? Over the last 7 years, it hasn't been good. That's probably more important than smoking outdoors. Where are you with the police and fire department contracts? That's way more important than smoking outdoors. Let's not forget the local income tax and garbage fees you're supposed to be working on. Where are you at on that? If you want to enhance state law regarding smoking in city properties, go for it. But banning smoking outdoors, that was just a waste of time by this council.
Sir, your time
There's
is
plenty more
expired.
important work that you should be doing. I was
Thank you.
reclaiming my time. Thank you.
That was denied. Thank you. I'm already there. Are there any other public comments?
Yes, my name's Wayne Reitzel, 4210 East Michigan Boulevard. I'm a smoker. Okay, I've been this way for a very, very long time. Okay, my mom was a smoker. Even on her autopsy, there was nothing in her lungs. Okay, but yet you have a coal plant sitting over here, and I'm gonna make that a point that that thing's gonna go here shortly, because Trump just purchased 5 new nuclear power plants that they're going into a foreign country. We're going to dump them off over there because it's a new territory that we have acquired. And we're going to try and make sure that that one leaves. And we're going to put a nuclear power plant right in that spot. And as far as the other guy's contract, he needs to talk to the guy for HUD because it's going to change some of the blueprints of his electrical grid. It'll also change the cancer rate. Because Canada has a new little device that doesn't need a wire and it doesn't take power from the power company. It's powered by the radiation that passes through Earth. So you just flip the little switch and it's already pre-powered. Bill Polluti knows about it. He just hasn't incorporated it into the new building code yet. But as far as smoking goes, hey, you guys were fine with handing me that nice poisonous weed killer when I worked over here at the zoo. So, but that's how that goes. As far as Amber and she don't like smoke, close your windows. We pay for good filtration here. I used to work for a filtration company. It will filter that out.
Thank you. And this will be the last public comment after this gentleman here. And just for the record, we are going to be remiss of calling out individuals by their names. If you have a concern, address the concerns. Please. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes.
Dominic Yankee, 904 Willow Spring Drive. I'm in favor of stricter smoking regulations, but I realize that not everyone's of the same opinion. So I think this is that exempting like the golf course and the parks is a good compromise, especially given some of the pushback that's been faced. And I think it's also important that let people know that while cigarettes are a carcinogen, they cause cancer, less than half of Americans know that alcohol also causes cancer.
Thank you. That was our last public comment on this ordinance. It is now public comments from the council on this ordinance. Dr. Cora.
Madam President, thank you very much. Initially I was a co-sponsor, but then the whole thing changed. Now it's back to where it was. So I would like to be added as a co-sponsor to this. And I also want to thank Councilman Coulter for, first of all, organizing the workshop, taking the feedback, and then modifying this. I think this is a nice compromise, and I fully support it.
Councilman Prisbalinski.
Yeah, I would also like to be added as a co-sponsor. And I think that the council and Councilman Coulter did listen to what the public was saying at the workshop, and whatever they've said on Facebook, I don't know, because I don't have Facebook. But I do know that we came to a common sense, I believe, compromise here. And I just want to go back a few steps, that this smoking issue, it wasn't caused by the city attorney. It was caused, and I'm not saying an issue was caused by anybody, but someone had a complaint that they were getting secondhand smoke in their office. Because the folks that do smoke, they stand on the north side. The ones I've seen stand on the north side, and maybe they stand, 8 feet away, 15 feet away, what have you. So the smoke rolls down the window path when the wind's especially coming out of the north, and it blows the smoke into the employees' offices. Well, I have to respect whatever the employees, if they don't like it, they have a right to have their windows open. And if they don't like to have the smoke coming in there, then we have to do something about it. Granted, it could have been a workplace issue and just have the folks move back a few feet, which that was my original ordinance, was to just move back to 20 feet. And yeah, and not to be sarcastic or anything, but I didn't do any scientific research on it or anything like that. I just kind of walked back, and Amber and I said 20 feet might be a good compromise. So anyway, so that's where it all started from. And I know the council has a lot of things to take care of, but if an employee, we have to be cognizant of our employees, respect their opinions, and if we can help them in any way, I know for sure Councilman Prisbalinski is going to help the employees, just like I try to help anybody in Michigan City that has an issue. But I do want to thank Councilman Coulter for seeing the compromise, seeing what makes sense, what didn't make sense, and appreciate that very, very much. And I will support this 100%. And Madam Chairman, I'd also like to have third reading this evening on this ordinance.
I second.
I have not requested for a motion at this time. We still have comment. Councilman Prisbalinski.
Oh, I'm done.
No, I said I have not entertained a motion on this as of yet. We still have comments.
Okay.
So if you can hold that for a
Yeah,
moment.
I'll hold it.
So Woman Lee. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. I would also like to be added as a co-sponsor, please.
Are there any other comments from the council? If there are none, Councilman Prisbalinski, if you will.
Yeah, I'm making a move that we have third reading this evening.
You have to
Do I entertain a second?
approve on second.
We have a second by Dr. Cora. Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Wait a minute. So
We did the amendment.
No,
we did the amendment.
we did the amendments.
Then we need to approve on second reading, and then we can move to third, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So the motion was to move to third reading, right? Or was it to approve on second?
To move to third.
Did we approve it on second reading?
No, we didn't.
Okay. So that's, we need a motion to approve the second reading and then go.
We did approve the second reading on the amendments
That was substitute.
for the substitution, motion for substitution. Okay.
Right. So we need to approve the amended version on second reading, and then we can make a motion to move to third.
I make a motion to approve the amended version on second reading.
That was by Dr. Core. May I in a second? That is second by Councilman Przybylski. Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
We're approving it on.
This is approval on second reading.
Okay. Dr. Cora?
Aye.
Ms. Lee? Aye. Ms. Moldenhauer?
Aye.
Mr. Nelson?
Aye.
Mr. Przybylski?
Aye.
Ms. Tillman?
Aye.
Mr. Beatry?
Aye.
Mr. Coulter?
Aye.
8 in favor, 0 opposed.
This has passed. Now we are doing the motion for third reading.
No.
Madam Clerk? On third reading?
I think that to redo the motion.
That entertain motion.
I motion to have the third reading this evening.
Councilwoman.
Second.
And a second by Councilman Przybylski.
Public hasn't seen the ordinance. Can you vote on something like that?
We can, yes, sir.
Without the public having seen it?
Yes, we can. This is a business meeting. So yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ms.
Back
Lee?
to business.
Aye. Ms. Moldenhauer?
Aye.
Mr. Nelson?
Aye.
Mr. Przybylski?
Aye.
Ms. Tillman?
Aye.
Mr. Beatry?
Aye.
Mr. Coulter?
Aye.
Dr. Cora?
Aye.
8 in favor, 0 opposed.
Okay. Next. Now I have to, I'm going
Third
to
reading.
give me a moment. I appreciate it. Thank you for your guidance. Give me a moment to adjust with all this going back and forth, unnecessariness. So next we will have third reading.
An ordinance on third reading by title only, creating section 78-7 in the Michigan City Municipal Code to designate all Michigan City government-owned buildings and real property as smoke-free. And this is introduced by Mr. Coulter, Ms. Moldenhauer, Mr. Beatry, and Ms. Lee.
Does any of the sponsors have any comments they would like to add? If there are none, I will open this up for public comment on third reading. Are there any public comments on this ordinance on third reading? Comments on this ordinance on third reading? Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Wayne Reitzel. The question that I have is, as the attorney went through with whether it's passes constitutional muster and all of its process to find out who that and the exact ownership of the city property, is that any of that been made public? So where it is, well, all these properties are that you're going to label this as that, where it's restricted at.
Madam President, what's your pleasure?
This is comments. And also, I would just like to add that that was the purpose of that type of question for the workshop that was had.
I was at the workshop and that just sort of got pushed over by the American Lung Association or whoever those people were. They ate up most of the time.
Yeah. It is noted. So if that is something that needs to be addressed, I believe that the sponsors will take the necessary action that is needed.
Okay, fair enough.
Tom Donigan, 205 East 11th Street. Since we haven't really seen what's in the ordinance, you just pass it out amongst yourselves. The public would like to have a look at that to make sure you're not trying to bury something that we don't want.
Are there any other public comments on this ordinance on third reading? This will be the last call for public comment on third reading on this ordinance. Public comments are now closed. Comments from the council?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Ms. Moldenhauer,
Aye.
Mr. Nelson,
Aye.
Mr. Prespolinski,
Aye.
Ms. Tillman,
Aye.
Mr. Beatry,
Aye.
Mr. Coulter,
Aye.
Dr. Cora,
Aye.
Ms. Lee. Aye. There's 8 in favor and 0 opposed.
And this ordinance with substitutions has passed. Madam Clerk, do we have any new business this evening?
Yes, there's an FYI. Mayor Angie's requesting the advice and consent of Michigan City Common Council regarding her reappointments to the Michigan City Public Art Committee, terms beginning immediately and expiring February 28th, 2029 for the following members: Catherine Mislin, Shannon Eason, Jane Daly, Judy Jacoby, Matt Kubik, and Kathy Dennis, and the advice and consent for her new appointment of Kenneth Smith with his term beginning immediately and expiring February 28th, 2029.
Attorney Snow, can we go ahead, since this is under new business, to entertain the advice and consent of the mayor on these to be reappointed?
Yes, you can. You're not changing an ordinance. You're indicating consent to appointments by the mayor, which is another party separate from the council. So yes.
Okay. May I entertain a motion to accept the requesting of the advice and the consent of the Michigan City Common Council regarding the mayor's reappointments to the Michigan City Public Art Committee?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Mr. Nelson,
No nominations, advice and consent from the mayor to reappoint the said following names: Catherine, Shannon, Jane, Judy, Matt, and Kathy to the Public Art Committee. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Mr. Prespolinski,
Aye.
Ms. Tillman,
Aye.
Mr. Beatry,
Aye.
Mr. Coulter,
Aye.
Dr. Cora,
Aye.
Ms. Lee, aye, Ms. Moldenhauer.
Aye.
8 in favor, 0 opposed.
And congratulations for the reappointment to the members to the Michigan City Public Art Committee. Madam Clerk, the next FYI, please.
Boards and Commission Annual Report to the Council 2026. The following Board of Cemetery Trustees, Commission for Women, Commission on Social Status of African American Males, Community Enrichment Corporation, EDC Revolving Loan Fund, Human Rights Commission, Promise Scholarship Exception Committee, Public Art Committee, Sustainability Commission, Urban Enterprise Association, Veterans Commission, and Youth Leadership Commission.
And our next FYI.
The council has one appointment to the Community Enrichment Corporation. Incumbent Jason Kirby, term expires March 31st of 2026.
Okay. And Madam Clerk, do we have any unfinished business? Do we have any other appointments for this, for the Community Enrichment Corporation? Then can I open this up for nominations, Attorney Snow? No.
This would be the meeting where we announce that this position is coming open, so then they need to submit their applications and we can deal with nominations at the next meeting.
Okay, when I saw Mr. Kirby getting up, thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
Actually, this one, yeah, that's right. This one goes through March 31st. So you could do your vote as late as the second meeting in March.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, on unfinished business.
The council has one appointment to the Michigan City Social Status of African American Males Commission, representing the following, and will expire February 15th, 2026, for Michigan City Area Schools, Dwayne Hurt. The council has one appointment to the Michigan City Tree Board, representing a neighborhood association. Incumbent is Laura Henderson, representing Elston Grove. Term expires February 15th of 2026.
Okay. Next, we have comments from the public. Comments from the public, please state your name and your address, and your allotted time is 3 minutes. Thank you. Are there any public comments? Yes.
Hello, I'm Jason Kirby, 1600 Columbia Avenue, Michigan City, and a little fatigued right now, but I would like to be reappointed to the Community Enrichment Corporation for my second term again. Mr. President, I know you and Ms. Nylib and Mr. Dabney, but the rest of you are all new to me, and I would like a third-year term or second term for 3 years. If you guys wouldn't mind, Mr. Ron gave a good recommendation for me, and sorry I'm really tired right now with this and a little nervous too, of course, but I would like to have my nomination thought of.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments at this time?
Hi, John Carrington again, 140 Esther. I just wanted to speak in support of the NIPSCO thing. I should have spoken at the public comment, but I seriously considered not moving back to Michigan City in 2011 because of NIPSCO. I was in AEP, and I really enjoyed my electric rates out there. And the problem was when the power went out, NIPSCO always got their power back on first. AEP took a long time. So everybody in AEP has lanterns and flashlights and candles and stuff like that. So last April, when we had that windstorm and all the power went out, NIPSCO was back on first. And so it's just something to keep in mind. I'm on a Facebook page called NIPSCO Monopoly Madness, and it's a lot of people just don't know how to read their utility bill. You know, I know my 15% increase in electric and my 17% increase in gas. I've seen it on my bill. My December bill was $230. My January bill was $303. My February bill was $320 in a house. And I do things when the weather gets cold. When the average temperature drops from 31 degrees to 16, I start turning down the thermostat, I turn down the water heater, and I do things, and I just support people in really learning how to read their bill and understand what is a rate increase and what can make your bill really skyrocket. If you put a quart of water in a saucepan and boil it, and then you put a quart ice cube in a saucepan and boil it, it's going to use a lot more energy to make it boil, and people don't realize that in the wintertime. Just a 10 or 15 degree difference in ambient temperature can make your heating bill go up double or triple. So it's very important to learn how to stuff towels under doors, wear more clothes, stuff like that. And I just want to say that I think NIPSCO is ridiculous on the rates. Don't get me wrong. And I think the Public Utility Commission has way too much power. But also learn how to read your bill, pay your bill, and if you can, or get assistance if you can. That's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello, this is Tommy Kolavic from 1316 Ohio Street. I want to continue to wish everybody a happy Black History Month. I want to give my condolences to the loss this morning, Reverend Jesse Jackson. I've been to Operation Push many times in that area, and I'm going to be attending the Bulls game Thursday night, so I'm expecting one really nice tribute for that. This is, I notice we don't have a police officer here tonight. This is under Section 2-61, under the rules of the council. Under subsection F, it shall be the duty of the chief of police or his appointed officer to attend all meetings of the council and restore order upon request of the presiding officer. We went through this with the last council. Remember Councilman Paul Przemlinski Emeritus, we had the council meeting as a police officer. You should adjourn the meeting. We don't have the police officer here. So just want to congratulate the Michigan City Marquette Blazers girls basketball team. They did three-peat as a sectional champion. They fell a little short in the regional over in Jimtown High School Saturday. want to congratulate their associate head coach, Renee Turpa. She had the main gym at Portage High School named after her. She's a Hall of Fame basketball coach, and I'm some proud graduate of Portage High School. Now, a lot of people think I'm not native of Michigan City. I grew up in Portage. On the late Great Forest, Dusty L Road was out my other siblings' members. I'm sure Councilman Beatrice and Councilman Newell is kind of like on the Mount Rushmore of educators. But just want to say that also announced that there's also going to be a commissioner's deed sale for a lot of the properties that has to pay. The starting bid is going to be $100 for the undeveloped properties, $100 for 200. So like a 120-day redemption period. It's all on the SR website. You register. It's going to be online through Zeus auctions. There's several parcels in Michigan City. A couple of them might be developed. But other than that, I just want to thank you and just keep up the good work. You got to have the police officer here at our meetings. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello again, Council. Stephen Kornacki, 5410 Rogowski. I'll be quick because my phone died, so I don't have a nice speech for you guys. With this NIPSCO resolution, I should have talked to them. Maybe I don't have the same point of view as everybody, but I do want to mention it does kind of seem hypocritical. The only people that I should see as a sponsor on there is Miss Moldenauer and Mr. Nelson. They were the only two that were against the tax abatement for the data center, which we kind of already know that the data centers are a cause for the big infrastructure improvement, and that is part of our delivery charges. So that is a, this is where I wish I remember what I wrote down, typed. But either way, you two are like the only ones that kind of go against the grain around here, and it's kind of nice to see. You know, party affiliation was brought up earlier. With this political climate, it's more, need to stop doing this and more bipartisan, and that's even going down to the state too. That's not just here, not just there, it's everywhere. You know, the left has good ideas, the right has good ideas. I know that's not something good to say, but that's just what I kind of wanted to say. I hope the resolution goes good. NIPSCO is also doing community talks. I just saw this headline, so I didn't really see too much. I know there's going to be in LaPorte community center somewhere. I don't know the exact name, Hammond, all that. So I really, you know, NIPSCO Monopoly Madness was talked about. It has like almost 40,000 people in it. I highly doubt even 1% of those people are even going to go to those community talks. And like Mr. Przewinski said last meeting, does it even matter? Because sometimes we even come up here and we kind of disagree, but you guys vote anyways. So have a good night.
Thank you.
Dominic Yankee, 904 Willow Spring Drive. I think the City Council did a good job on the NIPSCO resolution, but on a separate matter, on February 9th, 2026, IDEM inspected the Royal Road property, the site of the future data center. They found mud on both sides of the road. During a previous inspection, Phoenix claimed to own Royal Road out to the median. Now they claim to own the entirety of the road. IDEM reached out to Michigan City, but received no response. While I appreciate that City Council is not the main point of contact for state and federal agencies, I find it appalling that City administration failed to respond to IDEM's latest request for comment. The majority of this council encouraged this project with generous tax abatements and incentives, so I would appreciate your attention to this matter. IDEM needs input from the City of Michigan City to determine if dust crossed the property line, as that would be a violation of 326 IAC 6-4. The City of Michigan City has a duty to defend city property from outlandish property claims, especially when they involve a private business changing their claim from owning half of a public road to owning the entirety of a public road. Also, there should be an investigation to see whether they pay taxes on a Royal Road, or if taxes are not paid on the road, which would be consistent with the city owning the public road. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And that will be our last. I don't show anyone online. That will be our last public comment for the evening, and I will now open up public comment from the council. Are there any, Councilman Beatrice?
I know that we get copies from people who, excuse me, fill out the applications with City Council, well, actually with the City Clerk, to volunteer their services on these commissions. I have several in my folder, and I just wonder if maybe the city clerk at our meetings, when we have an unfinished business item that's asking us to nominate someone, could include for us the people who have actually filled out the paperwork necessary for that position, so we know who we can nominate. Because I don't know if some of these people, I don't know if Jason Kirby has filled out his paperwork, because I don't have it in front of me. But if I knew that, I wouldn't have any problem at all nominating him, because he's been recommended by Ron. Same thing goes with Laura Henderson. I don't know if Laura Henderson has filled out her paperwork again to be a volunteer, so that we could go ahead and approve her for Elston Grove. So I know it's going to be extra work for you. I apologize for that, but it would be a lot easier for us if we had a list for each one of these positions of people who have filled out the paperwork and are eligible for nomination.
I support the request. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Are there any other council comments? Are there any other comments? If there are none, may I entertain a motion to adjourn? Thank you, and have a good evening, everyone.